By the second year of Qin, the second emperor's reign, all the former six states had nominally restored their regimes. Among the new kings, only Yan King Han Guang rose from the Dazi village uprising. The others, like Qi King, Zhao King, Wei King, Han King, and Chu King, Mi Xin, they were all members of their originally royal families of these states. The Qin Empire, meticulously built by Qin Shi Huang Ying Zheng, was now on the verge of collapse. Initially, news from various uprisings across the empire was kept from Emperor Hu Hai, who preferred to hear only good news. But as the situation worsened, the rebellion news eventually reached the palace in Xiang Liang. True to form, Hu Hai took no responsibility and blamed his Prime Minister Li Si for incompetence, and now demanding a solution from him. Sticking to his legalist ideology, Li Si proposed a plan that further strengthened the emperor's absolute power and increased taxes, harshened punishments, and intensified already severe laws. He believed that if officials and the people were too overwhelmed by their own suffering, they wouldn't have the time or energy to rebel. But considering that it was precisely these oppressive policies just causing the uprisings, so wasn't Li Si just adding fuel to the fire? And why did Li Si suggest these solutions? Perhaps to please the emperor, or maybe he just had no better ideas. As a result, the heaviest tax collectors were seen as competent officials, and those who killed the most were considered loyal ministers. Half the people on the streets were marked by some form of punishment, and corpses littered Xianyang everywhere. Unsurprisingly, more and more people would love to join the rebellion. In June of Qin II, his second year, Xiang Liang proclaimed Mi Xin as the new king of Chu. By that winter, Hu Hai ordered the arrest of Prime Minister Li Si. The official charge was failing to suppress bandits, but the real accusation was colluding with rebels, with Zhao Gao leading the investigation. It's worth clarifying that Zhao Gao, though a eunuch, was not castrated. In the Han Dynasty and later, eunuchs were always castrated men serving the imperial court. But before that, like in the Qin Dynasty, court officials were not necessarily eunuchs. According to historical records, Zhao Gao had a daughter and a son-in-law, so he was not a castrated eunuch. But Li Si and Zhao Gao were not naturally allies. They only cooperated when Qin Shi Huang Ying Zheng died in Shaqiu. Shaqiu is a place now in today's Hebei province. And they plotted to install Hu Hai as emperor. Instead of Crown Prince Fu Su, they were co-conspirators, not true comrades. In fact, while the Qin Empire was besieged by uprisings, Li Si and Zhao Gao were secretly fighting for power with each other. Hu Hai grew increasingly fond of Zhao Gao, who skillfully played on the emperor's fears. Zhao Gao pointed out that since Li Si had helped orchestrate the Shaqiu plot, he likely held resentment for not being rewarded with a title or land. Zhao Gao then slyly suggested that Li Si's son, Li Yu, who governed the Sichuan region, had never been aggressive enough in suppressing rebels, implying deeper ties to the rebellion. As a result of these insinuations, Li Si was thrown into prison. Believing he was innocent, Li Si thought the truth would prevail. He even wrote a letter of confession to Hu Hai, which was more of a defense statement. But nothing worked, and Li Si was finally sentenced to death. He was subjected to the 5 punishments, starting with tattooing on the body, amputation of his nose and toes, tongue removal for the crime of slander, and finally being sliced in half at the waist. After that, his body was hacked into pieces and scattered. This was the tragic end of the once powerful Chancellor Li Si, a man who had done so much for the Qing Empire, only to be betrayed and forgotten. His death was a reminder that the empire he had helped build with legalist principles, devoid of humanity or reason. Even Han Fei, the philosopher behind legalism, had been betrayed and killed by Li Si's machinations. So it's no surprise that Li Si met a similar fate. During this tumultuous time, General Zhang Han was appointed to lead the military when the Qing Empire was on the brink of collapse. His previous role was managing taxes on mountains, forests, and lakes. When one of Chen Sheng's armies broke through Hangu Pass and marched the army towards Xi County, the capital, very near to the capital, Hu Hai had no choice but to appoint Zhang Han to suppress the rebellion. Hu Hai now grasped onto Zhang Han like a lifeline. Zhang Han was indeed a military genius of the late Qing era. He quickly turned the tide, killing Chen Sheng at Xiachengfu, defeating Wei Ju at Lingji, and crushing Xiang Liang's forces at Dingtao. At Lingji, Qi King Tian Dan and Chu's general Xiang Tuo joined Wei King Wei Ju in a battle against Zhang Han. The result is Tian Dan was killed and Wei Ju committed suicide. After the battle, Xiang Liang's army continued to fight, winning some battles. Xiang Yu, in cooperation with Liu Bang, defeated Qing forces at Yongqiu and killed Li Si's son, Li Yu. But these victories inflated Xiang Liang's ego. he began to underestimate Zhang Han. Every time Xiang Liang mentioned Zhang Han, he did so with disdain, not realizing that Zhang Han had not lost his fighting spirit. And Qin, the second emperor, had also reinforced Zhang Han's army. The result is Zhang Han turned the tables, defeating the Chu army at Dingtao, where Xiang Liang was killed in battle. After his victory, Zhang Han crossed the Yellow River and invaded the newly re-established Zhao kingdom. The Zhao king, Wu Chen, had died, and now Zhao Xie, a descendant of the original Zhao royal family, was now the king, the Zhao king. Zhang Er served as Zhao's prime minister, and Chen Yu was its general. After suffering defeat at Zhang Han's hands, Zhao Xie, Zhang Er, and Chen Yu retreated to Julu and sent out an urgent call for help to the Chu king. The Chu king could not ignore the situation, but with Xiang Liang died, who would lead the army? The king chose Song Yi. Song Yi had previously served as prime minister in the defeated Chu state. He had warned Xiang Liang not to underestimate the Qin army and Zhang Han, predicting his downfall. On his way to meet with the Qi emissary, he even remarked, "Take your time. If you arrive late, you might live. Rush to Dingtao and you are likely die." It's unclear whether Song Yi had true military insight or was just simply mocking Xiang Liang. Regardless, Chu king Mi Xin appointed Song Yi as the supreme general, with Xiang Yu as his deputy and Fan Zeng as the third in command, to lead the army to rescue Zhao state. All other forces were placed under Song Yi's command. Naturally, Xiang Yu resented this. After all, while Mi Xin was of royal blood, Chu state had been destroyed, and it was Xiang Liang who had real control over the military. So while Mi Xin wasn't exactly a puppet, he certainly had to consort with Xiang Liang. Now, with Xiang Liang died, Mi Xin saw an opportunity to strip military power from Xiang Yu through Song Yi, which naturally led to conflict between these two guys. Song Yi's army arrived in Anyang. This Anyang is now in Caoxian, Shandong province of China, and stayed there for 46 days without advancing. His plan was to wait and let the Zhao army and the Qin army fight with each other, to fight out. If the Qin lost, they could take advantages. If Zhao lost, the Qin would be worn out, and the Chu army could still swoop in and win. Song Yi hoped to achieve victory with minimal losses. Meanwhile, Song Yi ignored military affairs and held banquets in camp, drinking with his officers daily. To Xiang Yu, Song Yi's plan was nonsense. The Qin army, led by the capable general Zhang Han, was far stronger than the Zhao forces. There would be no opportunity to take advantage. Once the Qin defeated Zhao, they would grow even stronger. And plus, it was the dead of winter, while heavy rains pouring down, and the Chu soldiers were starving and freezing, surviving only on beans and wild vegetables. Yet Song Yi feasted very comfortable. And Song Yi also issuing a harsh order. Any soldier acting rashly like a wolf or tiger, disobeying orders, would be executed without mercy. It was clear this order targeted to Xiang Yu. Would Xiang Yu tolerate this? Back when he and his uncle Xiang Liang first rebelled in Kuaiji County, they had no soldiers at all, yet Xiang Yu had no problem beheading the Kuaiji governor, and official as powerful as a provincial governor today. Now Xiang Yu was a deputy general, commanding an army. Was he really going to let Song Yi humiliate him? Especially since it was obvious that Song Yi had been sent by the Chu king to take control of the army from Xiang Yu's hand. So, just as he had beheaded the Kuaiji County's governor, Xiang Yu took a sword and cut off Song Yi's head. No one objected to this. At that point, Chu King was in a tough spot, but he had no choice but to reluctantly appoint Xiang Yu as the supreme general. As soon as Xiang Yu took command, he ordered Yingbu and others to lead 20 southern troops to quickly reinforce Julu, while he personally led the main army across the Yellow River. When crossing the river, Xiang Yu gave the famous order to sink all the boats, smash the cooking pots, burn down the shelters, and only take enough food for 3 days. This was to show that they were ready to fight to the death. And from this event comes the well-known saying, burn the boats or break the cauldrons, which means to leave no room for retreat. After crossing the Yellow River, Xiang Yu and his troops swiftly marched north and immediately engaged with the Qin forces. They broke through the Qin defenses, destroyed their fortifications, but cut off their supply lines and threw their formations into disarray. In the end, the Qin general Wang Li was captured. Wang Li was the grandson of the famous Qin general Wang Jian and the son of Wang Ben. Both were military legends in Qin's history. Along with Wang Li, 2 Qin deputy generals, Su Jiao was killed, and She Xian took his own life by setting himself on fire. Julu was saved, and Xiang Yu became famous, became legendary. Up until that point, Xiang Liang had been the one with the greatest reputation among these rebelling armies. But this battle marked Xiang Yu's rise as a historical figure in his own right. At the time, many different allied forces had set up more than 10 encampments around Julu, while the Qin and Chu armies were locked in battle. These other forces stood by and watching from a distance. the Chu army fought fiercely on the battlefield, unstoppable in their bravery and power. Those other armies who had come to offer help, were so stunned by the ferocity of the battle, and that they stayed in their camps, too afraid to join in. When the battle was over and the Chu army had won, the leaders of the allied forces came to pay their respects to Xiang Yu. They were so terrified that they crawled on their knees as they entered Xiang Yu's camp, not even daring to stand up. Xiang Yu was only 25 years old at the time, but through this battle, he proved himself worth of becoming the commander-in-chief of the allied forces. Alright, this video is a story about the death of Xiang Liang and how Xiang Yu rose to power. In the next episode, next video, we will dive into what Xiang Yu and Liu Bang did after the fall of the Qin dynasty. And thank you all for watching. Making and preparing these videos isn't easy and taking time, really. So please like, subscribe, and feel free to share and comment. Thanks once more, and see you guys in the next video.